Welcome to Masters of Self University podcast, your highest source of sacred truths and universal wisdom. Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Rachel Fiori, mystic, spiritual teacher, psychic healer, and founder of Masters of Self University. Join our journey of soul transformation as we deep dive into this latest episode. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Masters of Self University podcast. Rachel Fiori here, and I am here today with one of our certified mystical life coaches, Rachel Baker. Hi, Rachel. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so honored.
Rachel squared. We got the Rachels here today. We got the Rachels here today. And the Rachels here today are going to talk about loving and healthy boundaries. Loving and healthy boundaries. So we're going to dive into this topic. The topic of boundary setting is, of course, a big one. It is an ongoing one. A lot of people really struggle with understanding what it means to set healthy, loving boundaries. So we're going to dive into what that really looks like, what that really is, and also some of the mistakes people make in the misunderstanding of what it looks like or sounds like to set boundaries. Boundaries are always loving, but they come from a place of power. And when they come from a place of power, what does that mean? You don't have to tell people to fuck off. You better listen to what I tell you to do. Don't do this to me anymore. It doesn't come from an unloving place. Power, setting loving, powerful, healthy boundaries means you're coming from a place of power inside of yourself. And that means you're coming from a healed place, not from woundedness. So Rachel Baker is going to talk a little bit about the mistakes that we sometimes make when we think we need to set boundaries. I need to set a boundary right now. I need to set a boundary right now. But you're actually coming from a wound. So you're misperceiving the fact that you even need to set a boundary. You might think you need to set a boundary. You really don't, because you're misperceiving, because you're seeing through the eyes of your woundedness. What does that mean, and what does that look like, Rachel Baker?
What I've recognized in my own experience is that someone will show up in the way that they're showing up, and I will misperceive and have misperceived many times what they were saying or what they were doing, and it hits the wound. And what ends up bubbling up, maybe the insecurity or the frustration or the anger, and then you step away from it going, ugh, I need to set a boundary. And I realized through this teaching, that energy, that feeling of, ugh, I need to set a boundary, is the anger. It's not the love for yourself. It's the frustration that you feel, or it's the insecurity that you have. It's not necessarily the honoring for yourself or the love that you have for yourself.
Yeah, beautiful. So we first identify that somebody is doing or saying something that I don't like right now. So that self-awareness has to kick in, and we realize we've just been triggered. And what has been triggered inside of us? In Rachel's example, like anger, like I'm angry or I'm frustrated right now. And so what we learn, and one of the things that we teach as coaches at Masters of Self University, is to start with that level of self-awareness and go a little deeper, get curious. So what's been activated? Now that I'm triggered, how I know I'm triggered? I've been taken out of peace, right? So if I've been triggered, something in here is activated inside of me. What's been activated inside of me? We'll look at the surface programs first. The easy one is anger or frustration. Why am I angry? Why am I frustrated? Now, the knee-jerk reaction is to say, well, because he or she did and said this, that's why. It's like, well, you're now seeing through your egoic mind or through your woundedness. Why did that bother you so much? What's really going on? What's going on at a deeper level? So can you give an example and elaborate on that for us, Rachel?
Ooh, there was, as I was contemplating what to bring into this, I said, oh, can we get really juicy? Can we get super gnarly?
Please, yes, do it.
Oh, yes. In my 20s, I was in an extremely abusive relationship. an emotionally abusive relationship. And I would notice in there, even being young and not really understanding anything, that he, with that emotional abuse, he would trigger the wound in me. And I would want to get even more clingy. And because you emotionally abuse me, and because you are continuing to teach me and instill that I am not worthy of the kind of love that I deserve, I would even get more clingy. But deep down inside, my soul kept telling me, you need to get out of here. You need to honor yourself by getting out of here. And then the ego would step in and say, well, you need to believe him. You aren't going to find anybody that loves you like he loves you. He's told you that he loves you in this way, and no one's ever going to love you in that way ever again. Well, I saw the wounds that were coming up at that time. Obviously, we didn't have the tools in your 20s. You don't have the tools to set the boundaries. And when you thought about setting the boundaries, you actually run the risk. And I knew at that time, with the volatility of this person, you run the risk of being rejected. You run the risk of being abandoned, and you run the risk of getting hurt even deeper. So one night I set a boundary, but I did it from a place of fear. I set a harsh boundary with something that kept bothering me with him, and it turned into physical abuse. And I got out. But don't let it get that far. There was a place, there was a time long before that fear boundary was set down that I had an opportunity to get out of there in somewhat of a safe way. But it was recognizing that it's coming from a wound. The reason you're staying is because of a wound. And the reason that you're going to have to leave is because of what your soul is telling you to do right now.
So we recognize that we're in this scenario because of a wound to begin with. So let's talk about that, because a lot of people are in difficult situations, and especially relationships. And they're like, well, what do I do? I have to set boundaries. First of all, you teach people how to treat you. And by the way, that is not specific to what Rachel Baker just shared, that she's teaching somebody how to abuse her. Do not misunderstand. I'm going to start at the kindergarten level of this. Okay. So it has nothing to do with her specific example. I don't want anybody to misconstrue that. And be clear. It is not your fault that anybody abuses you. Be very clear, everybody listening. Okay. But I'm going to backtrack, and we're going to start here, because this is an easy place to start. We teach people how to treat us in the sense that when we are first dating somebody, when we're first getting to know somebody, we do all of these things, don't we? We want to put our best foot forward. We want to show them how amazing we are. We want them to like us. We want to show them how flexible we are. We'll break our plans in order to accommodate them so that we're always available. And we do all this stupid shit in order to get somebody to like us, so that somebody will maybe love us. And what we're doing is we're not showing up as the real authentic self, number one. And we're bending over backwards in very unrealistic ways that cannot be maintained for long periods of time. And what we're doing is, during the times that we do that, we are teaching people how to treat us, meaning, oh, I'm always available. I'll drop everything. I'll break up all my plans. I'll end all my plans, and I'll change my plans around, and I will make you the center of my universe. And when we do that, we're teaching that person that's how we are going to be. Oh, that's who she is. So that's now what I expect now and forever. And when you decide to start setting boundaries, when that's what you set up for yourself, how dare you set boundaries now? You basically put a false sense of self. You wore the masks. That person is getting to know your masks. And then here you are building resentment or frustration or anger that somebody doesn't allow you to come first, or that they always put you last. But that's what you've been teaching them the whole time. That's what we teach. We teach people how to treat us. So, but I do everything. I'm so kind. I'm so selfless. Well, it sounds like you're a doormat. That doesn't sound like selflessness.
Totally.
Right?
And the weakness, when I couldn't handle what you threw at me, and I felt like I needed to set a boundary in that way, in my own self, I said, well, then that means you're not strong enough to take it.
Oh, interesting.
You're not brave enough. You're not strong enough. You should be able to handle this.
Interesting. So see how our programs run? I love that you're sharing this to give these examples of what kind of programs you ran back then when you were less healed, when you were unhealed. And I think a lot of people can relate to that, how we turn into judgment. We turn into that critical person because what I'm throwing at you now, you can't handle. And really, a lot of the time, we're the ones actually being unfair. Oh, because we were first unfair to ourselves,
Right.
because we bent over backwards.
Right. It was
Because
a lie, right? It's
a
just a lie.
lie.
A lot of times we come into
Yeah.
these relationships, and I don't care if it's with your new boyfriend or a new girlfriend that you just met. You know, I was hanging out with a girl for a little while, and she was really cool, and I would be very flexible with her gossip. I didn't like gossip. It doesn't make me feel good. I leave a conversation like that and I feel dirty.
Yeah.
But because I was really wanting a girlfriend and wanted somebody to hang out with,
Yeah.
I just let her do it.
Yeah.
Even though you walk away feeling dirty.
Yeah.
And the boundary to be set here, I mean, first you need to honor yourself and love yourself by saying, wait a minute, why do I feel dirty?
Yeah.
What's the gossip really pulling up in me because it feels yucky? I don't like it.
It's unloving.
Am I healed? And then, oh my gosh, if I have to set a boundary with her and tell her that I'm not doing that with her anymore,
I might lose
I
my
already
friend.
knew I'm a loser. And I did. I lost her.
Yeah. I'll lose this friend. So isn't that interesting? Let's dive into that for a minute here. So when we're afraid to be our authentic selves, and by the way, I love this example, Rachel, that let's say you meet someone new and you really like them and you're kind of forming this new friendship and you're kind of excited about it and you feel really good around them. And then it's like, oh no, but they really gossip and they talk a lot of shit about somebody. That is not loving. I don't like that. I don't want to be a part of that. How do I handle this in a loving way? Like, how do I set a loving, healthy boundary? Right. So first of all, here's something really key that Rachel shared with us. And it was, first, go inside and say, well, is there anything triggering inside of me that is a program or an unhealed wound? Why is this in my presence? Why is this my experience and my reality right now? Why is this happening? Do I have an unhealed wound that this person is mirroring to me that I need to heal? And if so, that's why they're in your life. That is this moment. That means I need to heal this. They are the mirror. They're showing me what I need to heal within myself. That's how the universe works. Be grateful. Do the healing. That's always number one. Number two, to set a healthy boundary with someone like this, when you're coming from healed, whole, powerful place inside of you, your divine self, you've healed this, then you say, listen, you know what? I really enjoy spending time with you. You know what I do not enjoy is gossiping and complaining about other people. I really like you and I want to have this friendship and I want to nurture this friendship, but I would love us to show up and meet up that doesn't include that. Would you be willing to do that with me? Would you be willing to develop a friendship with me where we're not talking about other people? That part, I'm not willing to do that. Are you willing to show up and hang out with me and leave that part out? It is a beautiful way to give that person, first of all, they don't feel criticized. You're not criticizing them. You're not telling them, oh God, you're such a gossip. Like, I don't like that. You're not criticizing them and putting them down. You're inviting them to meet you on a higher level. And you're doing it from a place of love. Love is power. Power is love. I want everybody to hear that. Divinity, that divine definition of power, it's not force. It doesn't come from force. You're not forceful. You're coming from a place of love. Love is divine power. They are synonymous. So when you're coming from a place of power, you're not judging another person anyway. You're simply letting them know, this doesn't work for me. I'm not willing to go there with you. Are you willing to show up and hang out and we can talk about anything else under the sun, but not this? That is a way that you set a boundary in this example, a very loving but powerful way.
Yeah.
Right? So
and you
imagine if you had
just so fast and you're so concerned that if you do it in this way, because you know, your soul already knows this relationship has run its course, baby girl.
Yeah.
And it's going to move on and it's going to hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
And when you do that, I had to tell another woman that I'm really tired of the judgment of other people. I'm trying to heal that in my own self.
Yeah.
And oh my God, you know, the heart's pounding, and you know for sure that it's going to bring up the defense program. It's going to bring up the control programs that these other people have. And that's another thing that's really important here. I saw with the most recent loving boundary setting that I had to do that your feelings about it aren't really any of my business.
Exactly. Yes.
Ah!
Yes.
So nerve-wracking. But after I did it and I was able to just say, that part's none of my business. I know this person's going to get defensive. I know it's about to get nasty.
Their programs are not my problem.
It's not my problem.
No.
It's not my problem. Yeah.
When you yourself are coming from a place of love, power, non-judgment, you really are coming from that loving place, but you need to set that healthy boundary. Their reaction is not your problem.
Right.
You don't take on their programs. And I want to mention this. Honoring them. So I want to go back to the example we gave. Rachel Baker with this friend. And if we could wave a magic wand and go back, this is how we set that healthy boundary. Hey, would you be willing to show up in this way and not in that way? And when we invite somebody to do that, they might say to you, no. There might be an outcome of, what? And they might misconstrue and misunderstand and project and be angry and do whatever they do. Guess what? You're here to change yourself, for you to choose to come from a powerful, loving, divine place. You are also reminded that because of that, a divine being is not attached to the outcome. So to honor them for where they are, they may say, screw you. I don't like you. You're a bitch. We're done. I'm not going to be friends with you anymore. Okay. Honor them for where they're at. They are not at a level of consciousness. They are not in a place of power. They have to feel this false sense of power, this false sense of superiority over others by gossiping about them and putting them down and criticizing them. Understand that is the program they are running, which is why if you set a boundary on that, they are not going to like it, because then they go into their own inferiority programs. They now are running an inferiority program because you set a healthy boundary. Do you see it, everyone? Everybody to really hear that. These are how programs work. This is our shadow self programs that are functioning. So to honor them where they're at is not to judge them for where they are, to understand, oh, this is where you are. This is where you're choosing to remain for a while, which means you have more suffering, more tough lessons to learn before you can heal. That is your path, not mine. I don't take responsibility for that. And also to honor the fact that they came in temporarily for a lesson for you. Something you either needed to show, to be seen, a mirror, like I mentioned before, that you could heal something within yourself, or you were moving through a test of initiation, meaning you were given the opportunity to step into your power and set a boundary lovingly with someone. That's why they came in. We don't worry about that they're not going to be friends with us anymore. It's ridiculous. That is child's play. It is, you came in here in order to give me the chance to challenge me to set a healthy boundary, to use my voice in a loving, divine, and powerful way. Oh my gosh, when you see what that person was there for, the bigger divine picture of why they were there, we can move into honoring the scenario, honoring that life experience, honoring them, even though it was very unpleasant, very unkind, and very unloving. And now they're gone, but you can still honor what that was in your life experience for. Doesn't that feel more powerful?
And I think a lot of people, we have these fantasies. Okay.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fantasies that tell us, okay, I met this really neat person and she's going to be my best friend for the rest of my life. Or, I hear people talk, I hear them make these statements, and I can't help it but to have that little program of jealousy come up when they're like, oh yeah, we've been best friends we've been friends since grade school.
Yeah.
And she's been my rock. She's my gal. That's the fantasy that we have. This new boyfriend is going to be the husband.
Right.
That you have 4 kids and you ride off into the sun together. So I think there's a lot of stuckness in these old programs of this person is going to be around forever.
Yeah. Yeah. And what happens when they're not?
What does it mean about you? What does
Yeah.
it mean about how you showed up? We start these little crazy programs in our head that
Yeah.
if a relationship dissolves, it must mean something went wrong.
Something went wrong, or that's tragic.
Totally tragic.
We
Yeah.
label it as tragedy, that it's tragedy, where that could have been the best thing that ever happened to you in so many ways, even if it was a horrible friendship or a horrible relationship or it ended really badly. That could have been the best lesson, the best opportunity for growth for your soul. We
Yeah.
look at things so ass backwards from such a
Oh, yeah.
limited egoic perspective, don't we? Love to do that. When
Well,
if
my
we
first,
just
I got divorced I forget the year, like it kind of doesn't even matter, right? But somebody would say something like, "Are you and so still married?" I was like, "No,
Nope.
no." Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm not.
Why are you sorry? There's
It's
nothing to be
amazing.
sorry about.
I
Like,
think
why are
so
you
many people can
sorry?
relate.
Yes.
I talked to a lot of women about this very thing, and she said, "Oh my gosh, it was such a weight lifted off my shoulders."
Yeah.
I was staying because of the fantasy. I was staying because of what I was taught, all of these little
Right.
fantasies that she had created and around it itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful. So when we really shift into more of a divine perspective and we realize that everything that is offered to us, our life experiences, our temporary relationships, whether they're friendships, romantic or otherwise, are here to teach us something. They're here to give us the opportunity to rise above, to elevate beyond the place where we're at right now. We have the opportunity to heal, to rise above, to elevate out of this current experience, and to stop looking at our experiences like it's something that's wrong, instead of, oh, this is here to teach me something. Let's see what is here for me. What is the diamond hidden underneath all of this life experience, no matter how painful or ugly it might be? Where's the gold? And you can find it by going within and healing yourself and elevating. We change our perspective of, this is awful, I don't want this, versus, oh, why is this here? And not from a place of victim consciousness either. Why is this here? It's no, why is this here in my life? Let's learn from this. What am I meant to learn? Who am I meant to become? Those are the two questions. We're going through something very painful or unpleasant, something that's very challenging. Who am I meant to become?
Right.
This is a magical question we can ask ourselves. So this is really challenging. This sucks. This is awful. Who am I being challenged to become because of this?
Yeah.
And that is where we start our place of elevating beyond it. And then we don't have to go through that identical experience again in order to teach us something.
Yeah. And my 3-year-old, about 6 months ago, she found her vocal cords in the ways that she can high pitch her scream.
Oh, lovely. That's a
She
beautiful
just thought
phase.
that was just so, and the rest of us were like, ah! But setting boundaries in a household where this relationship isn't going to dissolve, this isn't going to.
This is staying here for a while. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm going to have to set boundaries with a Neanderthal. How how do we do that? And I tell you, the program, if anybody's listening right now and is having challenges with their little ones, you just stop this video right now and go on to Masters Self University and sign up for the program. It will save you so much trauma and drama in your house. Yes. Because when I forget which class it was, Rachel, but there was something that you said and it just clicked the switch in me. And the next time Ayla screamed, I went up to her and I said, "It is so amazing what you can do. And that's going to come in so handy at some point in your life." So save that. However, when you're in the same room or you're in the car with mommy and daddy and your brother, it really hurts our ears a lot. And it wasn't the first time that she changed and said, "Oh God, I can't scream, can't scream anymore in front of my mommy." It was this consistent effort of showing her what the boundary was and understanding that I'm going to have to walk away from you and go find a safe space for myself.
Beautiful.
That's okay.
Beautiful.
It was challenging though, Rachel, because there's that little thing that says, will my child feel abandoned if I have to walk away from her when she's screaming? Am I banning her pain? You taught me to acknowledge her pain first. I can tell that you're feeling angry.
Yes, which is I want to jump in and just point out that I really want to point out the beautiful thing here as a parent is that Rachel didn't shame her. She didn't make her bad for screaming. And it doesn't mean screaming is okay. It is absolutely not okay. You don't scream to get what you want. But she didn't make the mistake that most unconscious parents made, or we were raised, how most of us were raised, is they yell at you and they make you bad. It's that you're bad and you immediately get scolded or punished or whatever for, the screaming, and they shame you for screaming instead of using it as a teaching moment. A teaching moment. And teaching moment doesn't mean, oh, let's talk about it for 20 minutes and I'm going to ask you, please don't scream. No, that's the other mistake. No, you don't do that either. That's a bunch of crap. Don't do that.
Yeah.
That's permissive parenting. They don't have to take you seriously. They learn to be, arrogant, entitled little fucks when they grow up to be adults when we use permissive parenting styles. So don't misunderstand. But I want to point out the beauty in what Rachel shared. And that's she didn't shame her. She didn't make her bad. She validated her emotions. She redirected her, and she said a powerful there's absolutely no excuse for screaming. We're not screaming, right? There's a rule. Like, we're not screaming. That's not okay. But she spent time with it, right? Like, you spent time. You're teaching her. And then there's the consistency of teaching until you no longer need to teach. And then they evolve out of that behavior because it's not getting them anywhere.
That's right. And you see that the reason they do it because they're going to get a result. And it's not always the result that they want, but at least they're getting a result.
Exactly.
So for the mommies and the daddies out there, we really have to address our impatience programs with toddlers because their job on the planet is to push your buttons and to be your master and teacher.
Yeah.
And when you understand that, you are more humbled by the experience.
Beautiful. Beautifully said. Absolutely beautiful. And so circling back to loving and healthy boundaries, that includes with our children, that includes friends. We're talking about romantic relationships, even in business relationships. I had somebody come to me in our organization at one point, and I had to stop him and say, what programs are you running right now? Because all you're doing in the limited time that I have to spend here, and I'm spending it listening to programs you're running. So your job is to identify your programs, heal those programs, and come back to me when you're not projecting your programs onto me. What are the programs? And he did an amazing job. He actually used it as a way to heal. And he really started to heal a much deeper wound that was in there, that he was blind to the fact that he was projecting that program onto me at that moment. Right. And so that was a boundary I set. We don't need to continue this conversation because I'm not going to talk to your program, your wound that is unhealed. I'm not talking to the adult you. You want me to hear the inner child you. And when it comes to having a corporate meeting, I'm only going to do that. I'll do that for a few minutes. It's a very different corporation, but this is how we spend our time and say, okay, let's acknowledge this is here. And then it's your job to heal that. It's your job to heal that. And guess what? He did.
Yay.
And it was just beautiful. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. I mean, he really took that seriously. He saw it. And so that is another example where you set a healthy boundary. You don't need to sit and listen for hours on end to people's programs that they're projecting onto you. That's a boundary. That's a timeout. Hold on. We're not getting anywhere because all you're doing is running programs right now. What programs are you running? How old are you? What inner child is wounded? How old is the inner child that's wounded right now, that's showing up in this meeting?
Yeah.
And you lovingly, you validate that. You don't make it bad. You don't make it wrong, but you validate it. You give spaciousness for that to come up and be seen and not judged. And then, in this specific example, okay, so now you know where there's some healing that needs to happen. You do that healing, we can pick up this conversation from a healed and whole place. Until then, this is not a conversation to have with the 7-year-old who's showing up.
Yeah, I think a lot of people listening right now, this will be an extremely daunting conversation because in business settings, they're taught to shut down.
Yep.
Or exile.
Yeah.
The two options that a lot of people have, especially when you've got a boss that isn't going to listen to what you just said, and they know it for sure that they're running their programs, but I'm still the boss.
Yep.
And if you confront me, then you're out the door. And having, really hear this, guys. If you set a loving and healthy boundary for yourself and you get fired, say thank you.
Yes.
Don't be so worried. Just say thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look for the gift in there.
Look for the gift.
I know it's hard. You do have a mortgage and you do have a lot of bills, and there's no doubt about that money's a big part of this, but there's something more than money that's out there for you.
Yes, absolutely.
And the universe just gave you a little bump in the booty, and you can say thank you.
Yes. Absolutely. Be in gratitude for this. A change was needed or it wouldn't have happened. And
we need a reverse. We need to change the way we think about these things.
Exactly.
And when we can do that, we can really see a lot of gifts. And you teach the cycles of wisdom. Yeah. You can see where a cycle of wisdom is like, all right, girl.
Yeah.
We're gonna wrap this up for you now, and you're gonna open it, or you're gonna walk into it again.
You're gonna walk into it again. This is nothing but a cycle of wisdom. This life experience that I'm going through is nothing but a life experience. We can label it all we want to. It can be horrible. It can be horrific. It can be scary. It can be daunting, but it's just still a life experience. And if we realize that through this life experience, there's a gift, there's a lesson inside of that for our soul to grow, for us to become a more elevated human. And if we learn that lesson that is hidden in there, the gift, we become the gift of that lesson. There's your cycle of wisdom, which means we become a wiser being. We become more patient, for example. We become more powerful in the way we use our voice in a loving way. We learn to set boundaries by having people who don't honor or respect them all the time and have no boundaries. They blow through your boundaries, but you're learning, why does everybody treat me this way? Because you're not powerful enough to set boundaries. That's why. People can't treat you a certain way if you set healthy, powerful boundaries with them, can they? No. So maybe all these people are treating you this way, so that this is a cycle of wisdom you're moving through, that you go through these experiences so you can learn what's the lesson. Oh, to connect to my inner power, use my voice in a loving, powerful way, set boundaries, stick with them. Because if you don't stick with a boundary, if there's no follow through, it's not a boundary, it was just a suggestion. But let's get real. It's not a boundary. Just because
that brings up a whole question then of consequences.
Absolutely.
Okay, when you finally lock down what your boundaries actually are, because many of us say, "Oh, you totally crossed the boundary with me. You didn't tell me what the boundary was, so get clear." Yes. On your boundaries.
Yes.
But let's say you did cross them.
Address it.
What are you going to do about it? What are the actual consequences? And
yes,
for a little 3-year-old, it's that I don't want to be in the same room as you because it hurts my ears.
Yep.
And for each individual situation, you'll have to lay down what are the consequences, and are you powerful enough to hold that?
Exactly. Are you powerful enough to hold it? So here's a good phrase. Oh, that doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Here's another good phrase. This is a
No.
complete sentence. No.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean you have to be a bitch or an asshole, by the way.
No.
It's not about ever turning into that. And that's where people mess up with boundaries a lot. They give the attitude. Oh, I ain't doing that. Guys, fucking take a chill. Like, let's relax. Stop being nasty. Jesus Christ, stop being nasty. You can set really strong boundaries with people if needed, when needed, without turning into a fucking asshole. Let's get real here. You don't have to be a fucking asshole in life. You don't, right? You might have to be really strong, and you might have to use a more powerful voice. You might have to change that voice. No, absolutely not. That is not happening right now. No. You may have to get to that place. That's a stronger, more powerful place. That's a little more of that masculine energy coming in, right? That strength is masculine energy. You may have to do that, but it doesn't mean you have to be an asshole. It's not one and the same. They do not mean the same thing. So, well, that doesn't work for me, but this does, and give a different option.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what? We have plans on Saturday. Can we do it? Can you do it tomorrow night? Can we switch it? This happens a lot when people first start dating. There's like, I don't understand. He won't commit to anything. And we talked on Tuesday or we talked on Sunday and he won't commit to Saturday and it's Friday night. I'm like, well, what the fuck are you waiting around for? Why are you waiting around? Yeah. You're teaching them that they can walk all over you, not solidify anything, not show up, not be accountable for anything, not make a decision with you. And then you're going to be upset when it's 9 o'clock on Saturday night and you're still waiting to hear if you're going out. You got to be fucking kidding me.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
It happens so much.
It happens so much. And then so look, somebody's not responding. You just say, hey, you haven't responded yet. That's okay. You must be really busy. I've made other plans. If you want to get together again the following weekend, you let me know. And you don't fucking contact that person again. And if they were like, oh, no. Oh, no, sorry. I was busy. I was this. And they might be honest. They might be lying through their teeth. You don't know. There's someone new. How do you know? It doesn't matter. No. Yeah. Let's do Saturday. Didn't you already say you made plans Saturday? And I don't care if your plans are to sit home alone and watch a goddamn movie on Netflix with your dog. You already have plans. So guess what? You fucking stick to your plan. You don't go, oh, okay. Now that I got now we're playing games. Knock that shit off, people. Grow up, mature. I don't care if you're 22 years old. Listen to this. You need to grow the fuck up and learn some self-love and learn some goddamn power so people don't walk all over you in relationships and then you cry 10 years later when that same person's walking all over you still. You're teaching them how to treat you. You say, sorry, I haven't heard from you yet. Because of that, I went ahead and made other plans. If you want to get together the following weekend, you just let me know. Have a great weekend. Oh, no. Let's hang out on Saturday. Oh, I already made plans for Saturday, so that doesn't work for me. Do you want to lock in next Saturday and put the date? Now they got to wait almost 2 weeks. And if they really are interested in you, guess what? They'll fucking wait those 2 weeks. And if they're not, bye-bye. That's okay too. We got to learn to step into our power, people. That is boundary setting right there.
And it's autonomy, because when you walk into these types of relationships and you immediately give away your autonomy.
Yep.
I'm sorry, honey, but he's going to use you. And I'm sorry, guy, she's going to use you. The rest of your relationship, you've already set the tone.
Exactly.
You don't have any boundaries.
Exactly.
You're a flood zone. Yes. And if you don't right off the bat let them know, no, that doesn't work for me, then they're going to think everything works for you.
Exactly.
I've been there.
I think almost everyone. I would be surprised if there's anybody that exists that hasn't been through that. I mean, unless you're 19 years old and you might be starting to go through it now. But you have to learn to step into your power. And it doesn't mean you didn't get back to me. So no, don't be an asshole. Nobody likes an asshole. Nobody likes an asshole, and nobody misses an asshole when you're gone. Oh, that one's going to miss me. No, he ain't. No, she ain't missing you when you acted like that. Nobody's missing you.
He opened that gift.
Like, nobody's missing you when you act like that. Quit that crap. Oh, they're going to miss me. No, they're not at all going to miss an asshole. Nobody misses an asshole. So guess what? It's not about being an asshole. It's about being in your power. Okay? Because here's the deal. Even if that, I'm going to go back to this example. Even if that person didn't get back to you in a harmless way, they really were so busy, overworked, and they're having a crazy week and they just couldn't get back to you. That is a possibility. Is that a real possibility? Yes, it is a possibility. And even if that's the case, they will realize if they don't lock it in, you ain't going to be around. You're not available. So they better lock it in for the next time and
That's
make
right.
that right. That's it. So they understand, oh, I have to be accountable. I better show up or I'm going to miss out on this person. It's that simple. Now, if they were lying and playing the fucking games that a lot of people play, especially the younger you are, sorry, young ones, but you play all these stupid fucking games out of immaturity. You're not in your power yet, so everybody plays these stupid fucking games. And then you wonder why we're all miserable dating. It's ridiculous. So even if somebody is playing a game and they're trying to see if someone better is available, so that's why they're pushing you off. Or they're playing the game of making you wait so you'll beg for it. Make sure you're around. They want to see, they're really testing you. They're playing these stupid games. And if that's where they're coming from, they realize real quick, you don't play fucking games.
Right.
I'm not a little girl. I'm not a little boy. I'm not a child. I don't play games. Children play games. Immature, low emotional IQ children play games and dating. Divine, powerful beings don't fucking play.
Yeah.
They put it all out on the table and they say, that doesn't work for me. Sorry.
And guess
So
who looks
we're done.
sexier at the end of the day?
Oh,
I do not care what y'all have to say, but the sexiest person at the end of the day is the one who has that power.
100%.
When you take care of yourself and you love yourself, you are the sexiest man on the planet. But if you're giving away your power left and right to everything,
Yep.
no,
That's
she's
exactly it.
gonna move on, buddy.
And the exact same, of course, for women.
Absolutely.
You think that, puffing up your lips and sticking your booty out makes you sexy. It doesn't. Divine power makes you sexy. In a superficial way, I don't care how attractive your meat suit is, because at the end of the day, it fucking means nothing.
You love yourself. He can tell. He can smell it from a mile away, whether you actually love yourself or you're just trying to do all that stuff to attract him.
Exactly.
That's going to come out so quick in a relationship. And if you recognize that you're doing that, I highly suggest working with a coach.
Yes.
Right now.
Absolutely.
Because you're looking at 15, 20 years of just a nightmare, babes.
Yeah. Exactly. And then we wonder why. Oh, and then we learn from society, I can't find the one. No, you have to be the one. No, you become the one yourself.
That's right.
You see?
That's
you
right.
become the one. You become the person you want to date. You become the person you want to be committed to. You become the person you want to be married to if you think you want to be married in this lifetime. You become the one, the divine partner. You become the soulmate for you. That's what you do. And you can't do that if you don't set powerful, loving, healthy boundaries. So you better learn quick.
That's right.
So
absolutely right.
If you want to learn how to do that, if you want to learn how to step into your power, if you want to learn how to heal the wounds that are preventing you, the fear of being rejected, the fear of not being liked, but she won't want me, he won't want me. That shit's got to go. And you need to learn how to step into your power so you can actually bring in and attract a loving person who will cherish you. No one will cherish and honor you if you don't cherish and honor yourself. And that's what you need to learn. And that's what coaching and our groups and all the programs we offer at Masters of Self University do. That is what we do. We take you step by step to do exactly that. Heal everything that is blocking you from being able to connect and come from a place of divine power. That includes relationships. So I would encourage everybody, if you are interested in one-on-one coaching, if you're interested in couples coaching, because of course we have couples coaching, the best on the planet, go to www.mastersofselfuniversity.com and get a free consultation with one of our coaches. Just schedule and follow through with a free consultation. There's nothing to lose with a free consultation. Spend 45 minutes with one of our coaches. Learn more about what we offer. Our group programs are coming out very soon. Probably when this airs, they may even be out. If not, they're coming soon. So we have lots to offer you to teach you how to heal, elevate, uplift yourself, and to completely connect to your divine power. Is there anything else that you want to say before we say goodbye to our listeners today? Mystical life coach Rachel Baker here.
Well, one thing that I do want to say is I really wish that I would have met you a lot 20 years ago or maybe more. However, now showing up as a coach with all of these experiences and having to really find my own power through these experiences in my life, I'm glad I didn't. But this work, everybody, is really a game changer because it gives you a tool that's not a coping mechanism.
Woo! Yes.
You know, I have learned so many coping mechanisms and so many ways to shove down, to put positive language behind, to purge it, to do all of these things, which are great, to stretch it out, to go run it out, to do all of these things to cope is amazing. But to have a tool to use in the moment that you're feeling something that is outside of your realm of understanding, and being able to really be there for yourself in that way without having to cope.
Yeah.
You know, it's been really amazing for me. So if anyone's on the fence, get off the fence. Because the suffering can actually end.
Yes, exactly. And learning more coping tools and coping mechanisms means you're willing to live with your suffering. That's what coping means. That I'm going to keep living with this forever. I'll just cope with it. I'll just deal with it. We don't teach that at Master Yourself University.
Right.
We get rid of all tools, all coping mechanisms, and you learn to go in and heal everything at the core root of its creation so that you can live freely. Absolute emotional freedom, and you can live fully in your power. That is the difference of this work versus almost anything that exists out there.
For sure. Yeah, hands down, being able to in the moment.
Yeah.
And that the thing that I really love about this work is in the moment I can do it. I don't have to have a pair of running shoes or an ayahuasca ceremony set up tomorrow.
Yep.
I need it to happen right now.
Yeah.
I need that shit to go down right now.
Yes.
And it gives you a tool that in the moment right now, it gives a different perspective. It shines a different lens. It helps you heal from the deepest space in yourself. And that's not a cliched statement. That's actually like, whoa, that's actually happening.
That is actually happening. It's beautiful. Well, thank you. Thank you, Rachel. Such an honor to share this space with you. And to all of our listeners, make sure you hit that like button. Share this with everyone you know. Make sure you subscribe. Share this podcast out if you think this will help someone that needs to hear what we talked about today. Please extend this to them so that they can hear that there really is a way to heal and resolve all of their struggles permanently. That's alchemy. Permanent healing. If it's not permanent healing, it isn't healing at all. So we love you very much. Like, subscribe, share, and make sure you go to mastersyourselfuniversity.com and get a free coaching consultation. You deserve it. You love yourself enough to get a free consultation so that you can get the kind of help that might benefit you, your partnerships, your life right now. Don't wait a minute longer. We love you. Rachel, thank you. Yeah. And we'll see you all in the near future on the next podcast. Bye, everybody.
Bye.